I'm Hokey Joker.
Bedroom.
Green Lantern.
And welcome to Just Us Bros Podcast. Hey bros, welcome back to Just Us Bros Podcast. And on Amazon, our favorite superhero Mark Grayson is back at it again in Invincible Season 3. As always, I'm Hokey Joker.
I'm Bedroom.
And I'm
With Season 3 just now getting underway for Amazon's hit series, what are we thinking so far about Mark and his adventures with, now Adam Eve and having a younger brother and obviously being kicked out or not going back to college?
Well, Multi-Drew, what are your thoughts on this so far? The first 4 episodes, because we're obviously only up to 4 episodes when this came out.
Multi-Drew. First off, I want to say that one of those episodes where I didn't know Kate had a brother, but two, whoever named him, that's great. Multi-Paul and Duplicate, that's awesome.
That was horrible, by the way.
I liked it. I will say I thought season 2 ended kind of disappointingly. I wish a lot more happened in season 2. So this is definitely I like sort of the tonal shift. I like how things are going with it. I will say the only real good thing that happened in season 2 was season 1. Everybody hated Rex, and then season 2, that last fight with Rex when he lost his hands and he's just going ape on everybody, thought was awesome, and they're actually making him more likable now. Mark's getting it together, and I like it. Definitely big change from season 1. The pacing's a lot better. It's a lot more action, and I really every episode. I'm just Mark's finally gonna get a break. He's gonna get a break. He's gonna get a break, and then, hey, I'm on a date with Eve, and then there's two time travelers. I'm like, no, let him have a date for once. So, but I'm really liking it.
Okay, that was a lot of information. Jill, what are your thoughts on the first 4 episodes so far?
I'm a fan. I agree with you on the pacing. I agree with you on that. I don't think Mark has his stuff together. I think he's one step away from losing his shit. So I disagree with you on that he's getting his stuff together because I think this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and it's all weighing down on him. And I'll preface this with I have not read the comics. I don't know what happens in the comics because I want to be surprised by what shows in the animated series. But if something were to happen to Eve, I think that would completely blow up his character. So I don't know that they're hinting at that. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they give him a happy superhero ending with her, but it seems like they're building this up to not be a happy ending.
Oh,
And
they're pulling a Gwen Spider-Man 2.
yeah, so I um feel like they're going to pull the carpet out from underneath us at some point. Again, I haven't read the comics, don't know what's going to happen, but it just the ending of the last episode where they both said the L word to each other. I'm like, okay, this is usually when things start to go bad for a superhero.
Yeah.
Because you can't
But
really be a
other than that, though,
superhero and have a love interest. But yeah, go on.
yeah, the thing I do like about that is that they're both superheroes. They both have their secret identities. They both know what they're going through. I think that's newer or hasn't really been explored much. So I do like that. But no, so far I'm enjoying it.
This has flowed very great because Drew had his thoughts and then they roll right into yours and then yours are actually going to roll right into mine. Again, someone that has not read the comics, I'm actually interested in the show because I have not watched or read the comics and I do not want to know what happened, even though there are some trolls and douchebags on the internets and social web to try to spoil things. I try to avoid that as much as I can. I like where things are
But
going
it's
so
cool because we
far.
don't read the comments, so y'all can say whatever you want.
Actually, yeah, go ahead and comment and see if we can read it or we try to read it, but go ahead. But yeah, this season, I think it's leading to obviously it's not going to happen in this season, but I feel like they're finally going to get the anti what was I going to say Vegemite? What are they called? Oh my god, I just had a brain fart. what are their people called? Omni
Viltrumite.
Man, Viltrumite. Why was I gonna say Vegemite? I think I'm hungry. They're having the anti-Viltrumite team form slowly but surely, it seems like. And like GL said, I think Mark has both shoes on comfortably, but one might fall off, unfortunately, with it being even. That would crush me too. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the shows. I'm a fan of happy endings. That's what she said. But also, I just I want his happy ending too, but I don't think he's gonna get it, and it's gonna crush him. Just like, to jump to another comic universe, you're just one
Well,
bad day, Red, from being like me. And we all know who said that.
yeah. So, but the thing is, with a lot of comic book movies, TV shows nowadays, like take a look at The Boys, for example. It is nowhere near what it was, like comic book story wise. So they could be going a different direction. Oh,
What's up?
What's your opinion on this, Luffy?
Like, I gotta tell you something.
is it? But I think that's just one thing that yeah, people can say, well, in the comics it does this. Okay, we're just as nerdy and saying, well, in the comics this happened, but they could go a different direction, like a lot of comic book properties do when they come to streaming or movies, what have you.
And that's a thing too for other properties that's not Invincible, where people that do know the source materials, they were like, okay, this these scenarios are happening. This means this is about to happen. They can surprise them. I think she really wants to
What are you
get her input
doing?
on something.
What do you want?
She
Did you
just
want
wants
your
to
Chick Fil?
pray.
Did you smell the Chick-fil-A?
No, I already ate it.
Oh, she's smelling your farts then.
So, what do we think about though the rift between Cecil and Mark? Because that's getting like, you think that's going to come to a head? And because there's no way Cecil can stop him, because just seeing the way that Mark tears through those android things,
Well, I
he's
mean,
unstoppable.
also not being a comic book or not being an Invincible comic reader, who knows what else Cecil has up under his sleeve that Mark may not know about. I mean, he's kind of like evil Nick Fury of this universe. So he may have something else that could stop him, but this is season 3, right? I mean, I feel like it's been a long time coming. I knew that eventually Mark was not going to want to fall in line with Cecil, but they also showed in, I think, what was it, episode 2 or 3,
Mhm.
where Cecil got to be the way he was, where he kind of was like Mark in the beginning, but over time he grew to know that this job is dirty and sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do. Mark still won't like as no as long as it goes on, he's not going to turn into a Cecil type unless something
Mhm.
horrible happens to him. But then he won't be like Cecil; will be worse.
With Omni Man and Al, is it Alan the alien
Yes.
Yeah,
or Rick the alien? I can't remember. Um,
Rick.
uh, but they're teaming up, and do you think this is leading towards an Omni Man redemption arc, or do you think that's too uh, easy and not a complicated enough storyline, complex storyline, or do you think they're just going to straight? Oh yeah, he's good.
I don't think he's good. I think he's not of the pure Viltrumite mindset.
Mhm.
And I think when push comes to shove, he's going to choose his Earth family and Oliver over the Viltrumites. Why else at the end of the last episode wouldn't he have revealed crucial information about their empire? Again,
And
I wouldn't necessarily say he's good, and I don't know that he's going to get a true redemption arc. Um, I think if anything, his redemption will be he'll die in battle alongside his son, like sacrifice himself or something like that.
but
Yeah, I
that
agree.
fight though, him in battle, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that was an entertaining fight, and then Alan was there for comic relief. But also, I'm a little concerned with what Ali is gonna do, even if his father comes back and maybe he's trying to talk him off a ledge from being like he was, where Oliver might be like, I'm kind of concerned when Omni Man does come back to Earth, how he's gonna feel, or how Ali is gonna feel, Oliver, if he's gonna go down, keep going down that dark path, or maybe Omni Man could slow him up and put him back on the right path.
They kind of said it that he was progressing a lot faster than what Mark did when he was that age. I mean, Mark didn't get his powers till he was like almost 18. And Oliver what would you say he's like 8 to 10?
Yeah, yeah, I would say that. Um, so
And they really foreshadowed it by him being Kid Omni Man. Like that was
yeah,
like a ugh.
so he knows who Omni Man is, but he doesn't know the atrocities of Omni Man, or he just doesn't care.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure probably no one like showed him all the stuff that's happened in the past, and maybe people on Earth are trying to forget about that and not cover it. I mean, of course he is like 10 years old technically in human years, but how long has he really been on Earth? Like what, maybe a year?
Yeah, but all he has to do is like Google search Omni Man, and he'll be like, "Oh, bad guy," or he just doesn't.
But he was shown that he didn't. Obviously, he doesn't have any qualms with killing people as long as he thinks that they're bad and he's good. But at what point does a 10-year-old know the difference between bad and good? And like, how can they stretch it to justify it? But by that, again, then you get into the thing like, what rules is it okay to kill and not kill according to a 10-year-old, whatever planet he's from mindset?
We also have the splitting of the team with you have like
Team
all
team?
yeah the teen team is and the older set of heroes. Uh, you think that's going to lead to like some sort of head headbutting because it seemed like they got whooped by the two what were they called, the brutal people, the big blue guys?
Mauler twins?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Maulers. Yeah. Like, do you think that the teen team is gonna butt heads with the old guard, if you will?
I kind of think that eventually the enemy of my enemy is going to become my friend, so they're going to eventually have to team back up when the war happens. But I think they'll have a it'll be a good season where they're bouncing back and forth with them. Will they come back? Will they won't come back? But I think in the end, I think they'll all be under one roof again, maybe reluctantly, but I think for the season they'll be at wits ends with each other, but not like to the point where they're mortal enemies of each other, if that makes sense.
They'll be immortal enemies.
Damn it! I
Oh
was gonna
my
say that.
god.
And
I was hoping no one would say that. I thought about that after I said it.
with this, it's got that element of time travel because we've already seen time travel twice at least. So end of season two, and now those two kids took him into the future to kill who was immortal. Is, that is that set in stone? Like, because immortals like you left, sort of this could be your future if you don't change.
To me, to me, it wouldn't be set in stone because the very act of going back and interacting with, well, I guess not your past self, but going back and interacting with somebody in the past, ultimately, once they have knowledge of the future, that's going to change. They're going to change the way that they do things. They're going to change the way that they see things. That future is going to change. So that's going to create a separate branching future for them.
But I will pose this question: when they do go to the future and goes, "What am I going to do with my clothes?" and then future Invincible comes back, hey, clips and takes it back. That's a cycle. Like he couldn't just like come through like to grab his clothes and be like, "By the way, it's a Abraham. He wants you to kill him." Like prepare him that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, for me on this question of can they change the future now? I think because Eve like blatantly said out in the show, just because that future version of me does not represent me or however she said it. I think that was kind of um their way of saying that the characters are going to still try to not have try to avoid those futures, but it seems like it's almost going to be inevitable for them. Like even though they know what's going to happen, they're going to do things to try to stop or prevent that from happening. But
No.
in turn, that may be actually what causes that to happen. So that's going to be an interesting thing for the rest of the season and I guess going forward too. But then that also could mean that Adam Eve does not die because her future self was just miserable. So maybe it wasn't her that pushed Mark over the edge.
Then it begs the question, like, what does Mark do with that information about the immortal, knowing that eventually he's going to enslave humanity, kill millions of people? I mean, wouldn't the right thing to do be to end him now? But then he hasn't committed those crimes, so how can you justify that?
Oh, we're getting all Minority Report up in here.
Sure.
Um,
Sandra Bullock, right?
Matt Damon.
yeah. Well, so that does well though in that episode, the immortal was like, I didn't want to be king. You made me king. I couldn't take it. I wanted you back. So I enslaved humanity so you would come back. So it's not like he did it just to rule over the people. He did it as a cry for help. So it's not like he was evil. He was just tired of it.
Well, yeah, that's evil. I mean, doesn't matter the motivation behind it. I mean, enslaving all of humanity and killing people, that's evil.
And justifying the mean situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean,
it,
I get his torture, but does one man's torture and one man's curse mean that all of humanity has to suffer? Like, you're telling me there was no one else there that could battle him? Where's Battle Beast? That could battle him and rip his head off and keep it separate from his body in all that time. And it just goes to show, yes, he was older, he was mentally beat down, he was ready to die, but Mark took him out really easy. Like,
yeah,
I mean, and the Immortal is the next supposed to be the next most powerful person on the planet, but
yeah,
Mark just like ripped his head off like he was popping a bottle on a popping a
or
top on a bottle.
yeah, or tearing it off like he's a gummy bear. Just
Yeah. Like
yeah,
that was way too
Also,
easy. Like,
also, Immortal did mention only one person knows me by that name when he was talking to Mark, and he's like, "Are you sick? Have you been eating? You're much smaller than I remember." So eventually, Mark is gonna get like Omni Man size probably, and he's not even at that size yet. Neither was already, like you said, that strong enough to like
yeah.
easily handle Immortal. So a lot of subtle foreshadowing, but
well,
not so subtle.
yeah, well, hopefully this season answers a lot of those questions. But I just know, like in season two, when it ended, I'm like, okay, when's the next one? And there was no next episode. I was a little bit disappointed. So I just hope we have a I'm not gonna say a better villain, but I felt like after season one's villain, it was hard to follow up with that in season two. So hopefully we have a good big bad at the end because we don't know who that spying orb was that Mark destroyed outside of his home. So we'll see what that's
Who do
about.
you think it was?
It belonged
I
to
don't,
the leader,
I don't know. It wasn't Cecil.
The
the
leader?
leader, or the thinker,
Who's
the guy from Brave New World, the new Captain America movie.
Hmm. Oh
No,
God, hope
wasn't he called the leader in this too? Not Stearns, but actually in the show, the bad guy from the end of last season that Mark brutally like
Angstrom somebody?
because he had a big brainiac head too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his character, I thought he was also called the leader as well, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm thinking of Brave New World too much.
Why? I'm so sorry.
It's not a bad movie. That's why.
It was a great movie. It was a good Hulk movie. My favorite Hulk movie that's come out the past century.
It was the final trilogy piece in the movie, The Incredible Hulk from 2008, Eternals from whenever the hell that came out, and now Captain America: Brave New World. So that completes the trilogy.
Thank God. All right.
Oh no, actually, there was that weird thing where Mark's mom was like, "Hi, I'm dating this guy. I just randomly told him who you were and all this stuff because I needed somebody to talk to him." Like, what the hell was that? Somebody did spoil that for me in the comics that Homeboy found out, but he wasn't outright told. But
But he or
but
she just
still,
straight up told him.
yeah,
That would be like
you want
Jim
to know my
Gordon
secret
knows his daughter
identity?
is Batgirl, and he starts dating some new girls. Like, oh yeah, by the way, Batgirl's my daughter, and Bruce Wayne's Batman. I just got to tell somebody. Like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird, but watch that guy end up being the bad guy. Like he just wants to get close to Mark and Oliver so he can like I'm really your friend. I know who you are, but it's a future him who's the bad guy, and that's why he's spying on him. Just so
Well,
like
he could be Cecil's spy because Cecil said or Cecil's partner is like, what is he gonna do when he finds out you are spying on him? It's like he doesn't need to know that yet
Yeah,
because that he could be a Cecil plant.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
he's like, that's not our device.
we'll see what happens. But I think one thing that's important to know if Amazon show is going to be a hit or not, you have to get Seth Rogen involved because he's in this. I'm pretty sure he's a producer on it. I'm pretty sure Seth Rogen is also like heavily involved in the production of The Boys. So Amazon, if you want a hit show, maybe it's a comic book thing. I don't know. Get Seth Rogen involved to have a successful series on your streaming platform.
James Franco.
No James Franco.
What do you think of the new suit?
I like it. I kind of miss the yellow though.
I think this new suit is gonna foreshadow something because it is black and blue.
Blue suit, blue suit.
Blue suit.
All right, bros. What do you think of Invincible season 3 so far? Do you like the new suit? What do you think about him and Adam Eve's relationship? What's going to happen with Omni-Man? As always, I'm Hokey Joker.
I'm hungry.
Green Lantern, turn.
Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us what to do a podcast on next. And until next time, guys, we're